Okay, I think intros on these kind of videos are so awkward, so I'm just gonna kind of hop right into it. I'm going to put some baby laundry away. He's sleeping in his crib right next to me, and I figured I wanted to talk about my breastfeeding journey and kind of what happened. So today my baby is actually 6 weeks old, and I officially stopped breastfeeding on Sunday, so we made it about 5.5 weeks. So basically, we started breastfeeding obviously as soon as he was born. My goal was to breastfeed until he was at least 6 months. I bought everything that you needed to breastfeed, and it was going okay. My left boob, I had some troubles because he didn't want to latch, but I got some nipple shields that seemed to help the problem. This boob was definitely making less milk, but I was pumping, and I was able to even make about a bottle and a half, 2 bottles extra each day to freeze. So things were going pretty well. So we went to his first appointment. He wasn't even a week old yet, and he had his first real poop actually conveniently right before the appointment. And the doctor was like, "You need to stop eating dairy. He's clearly allergic." And she was like, "It's very mucusy." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It was very weird that she could just tell that right away. Because he was only literally, I think, 5 days old when we went to his first appointment. So I went vegan for a year one time. So I was like, okay, I can cut dairy, although I love dairy, and that's why I didn't stay vegan. I went vegetarian until I got pregnant, because I love dairy so much. But I was like, I can do this. It's for my baby. It's more cost effective. It's fine. So I cut dairy, and it was about a week and a half or so later, and his poop was still mucusy. And so I didn't really do a lot of research. I just cut dairy and called it a day. Hold on, there he is crying. Okay, anyways, so I cut dairy. I didn't do much research into the dairy allergy for a baby. I just assumed a pediatrician said it, okay. But it was a week and a half later, and his poop still had mucus in it. And so I was like, okay. So we actually went to the same doctor, same clinic, but different doctor. And I asked her, I said, how long does it take for this stuff to clear my system, his system, because his poop is still mucusy. And she was like, oh, well, if it didn't fix itself by now, you're good to go ahead and eat dairy again. So I was like, okay, weird, but all right, I'll incorporate dairy again. So about 2 days goes by with me eating dairy again, and he just seemed like he was in a little bit more pain. He was fussier than usual, so I was like, okay, clearly something was going on with dairy, so I'm just going to recut it again. So I started doing my own research. I saw that it, could take 10 to 21 days. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be really dedicated to this. So about 2 weeks went by. So he was about 4 weeks now, and he would cry every time he went potty. He still had mucusy stools. It was just getting a little ridiculous, and I felt so bad for him. I had been dairy free for about 2 solid weeks, really watching what I ate. I think I had 1 or 2 mishaps, and they were very mild. It wasn't straight dairy. It was just I didn't realize an ingredient was in something. Fine. So I felt so bad for him, so I went ahead and I got an appointment. I called the nurses, and they said, let's schedule you, but why don't you cut caffeine? So I was like, okay, I'll cut caffeine. So I went ahead and I cut caffeine for a couple of days, because they said by the time our appointment would be, we would know if it was caffeine. So no dairy, no caffeine for 3 days. No change in the stool still mucusy, still struggling to poop. So I went back to the doctor that we had seen first that even said he had a dairy allergy. And I kind of explained everything to her, and she was like, yeah, he definitely does. And so I asked if maybe he had a soy intolerance, because I was allergic to soy. I still have a mild allergy to soy, but I was severely allergic as a baby, and I would throw up every time my parents gave me soy formula, because the doctors assumed since I was African American I would be lactose intolerant, so they started me on soy formula. That didn't work very well. So she said, yeah, and typically when you cut dairy, you should cut soy. Well, I didn't know that. She didn't tell me that, so I was like, crap, so maybe it's the soy. So, I did more research. She said that we could be referred to the children's hospital in the state over, because of course we don't have one. And so I said, okay, let me go the next couple of days. It was about to be the weekend. I said, let me go the next like 5 days. I'm going to be super strict. I'm cutting all dairy, all soy. I did some online research, and a lot of people were saying, you know, that they had to cut nuts, they had to cut gluten, they had to cut eggs, just a lot of things. And unfortunately, I'm a very picky eater. So I was like, I'm just going to do the best I can to cut everything. So I was literally eating chicken, which like I said, I was vegetarian before I went pregnant. So meat's not really my favorite thing. If I'm going to eat meat, it's going to be chicken. So I was literally eating chicken every single meal except for breakfast. I was eating apples, applesauce, plain potato chips that weren't fried in soybean oil or anything like that, some plain potato chips, baked potatoes, and I think there was like 2 other varieties of fruit. I had some pineapple and some mandarin oranges, but I also read that citrus wasn't great, so I tried to take it easy, and I did have some strawberries. And that was literally all I was eating because I'm such a picky eater that was literally all I could find, because I don't like vegetables without dairy additives, unfortunately. So it was really crappy time for me. I was exhausted. It was literally 5 days of just the same meal. And so talking with my boyfriend and my mom and everybody, you know, it wasn't realistic for me to keep that diet. Even if I found a couple more things to incorporate, it just was not going to be realistic. Hold on. Somebody sounds like he's spitting up. Okay, so anyways, I've done no laundry this whole video. So yeah, anyways, it had been 5 days of just me being exhausted, me definitely not getting well-rounded nutrition. And so I talked with my family and everybody, and, you know, at that point I was really torn because it felt like either A, I was poisoning my baby because whatever I was putting in my body was making his tummy hurt. He was so gassy. Gripe water wasn't working. My Colin, I think it is, wasn't working. I didn't want to put stuff in my baby constantly just to, you know, have him breastfeeding. And so it was really hard for me because I wanted to breastfeed, you know, for so many reasons. And it kind of sucked to have to come to the decision that maybe formula would be best. I literally felt like I was poisoning my baby, but I also really struggled because I then had to switch my baby to formula and I wasn't going to get that contact, and I felt like I wasn't doing everything that I could possibly do, you know, because I could live on that diet if I had to for 6 months, but then I knew I wouldn't be happy for my baby, and there was just so many pros and cons to both sides, and it was just, I didn't realize that I would struggle so much to quit breastfeeding, but I decided that it would be best. So, you know, I did my research. I found the hypoallergenic formula, and we went ahead and tried it. So it's been almost a week now when I'm filming this with him being on that formula, and I can honestly say that he genuinely is doing better. His stomach's not as hard. Now he still is adjusting to pooping because breastfed baby poop and formula baby poop is totally different textures. But he's not in tears every time he poops. You know, he struggles, but he's not crying. It's hard for me still to accept, but in the long run, like, I can visually see that he seems to be doing better. He's eating more, because with breast milk, he would only eat about 2.5 ounces in a sitting. Now he's eating up to 4. And I mean, like I said, it's been like 5 days now on formula. He's sleeping longer at night. There's just a lot of improvements, and it makes me sad because I couldn't do it for my baby, but it also makes me happy because I'm not being selfish and I'm doing what's best. Now, there is one thing that I'm not liking about this formula. I'm on the Enfamil Nutramigen, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce it. But the one thing is all of a sudden he has a diaper rash that appeared about 3 days after starting the formula. And he's had no diaper rash. I'm pretty good. Since he's born, I've went ahead and every other diaper I'll put on diaper rash cream just as a preventative thing. And so I don't know where this diaper rash is coming from. It may be the formula, but I'm not digging that. So we have an appointment in like 2 weeks, and we'll see if that's what's going on. But that's just kind of, I just wanted to update, and I really just want to document my journey as a mom. I'm only planning on doing this once, and I want to remember kind of like how I felt, what I did. Nobody may ever watch these videos, someone may, it's whatever. It's just really important to me to kind of remember the emotions I went through and the choices I made, and just to record my baby boy. So here's a little glimpse of him as he maybe is sleeping. Let's see. Yes, there's blankets in the crib, but it's only because I'm watching him. Say hi, Boogie. He's like, Mama, I'm sleeping. Leave me alone. Okay, so I just wanted to record that. And yeah, so if you have any questions or anything like that, just leave it in the comments and I will try to answer. It's definitely been a journey already, but if it means my baby feels better, no matter what, that's the choice. Fed's best. And although he did well eating from my breast, it didn't sit well with his stomach and freaking sucks, but that is life. So thanks so much for watching, and bye.